3-day workshop on developing and cultivating Samata, which is equanimity. And before we start the session, and before Monica takes over, we'll just step back into a few moments of silence.
So namaste everyone. Thank you, James. Hello. Hello to everyone. And before we start, namaste. Before we start, let's take refuge. As in Buddhism, they take refuge. When we begin with any practice, we take refuge in our gurus, in our masters, in whoever we have reverence for. So just continuing that moment of silence that James initiated, taking refuge in our masters, in our gurus, because they are here to show us the right path. And we trust in their words, we have belief in what they are saying, and that's what is leading us to light. So today's topic, the first time I thought about Samatha was when really thought about Samatha was when I saw this video of a Vietnamese monk during the Vietnamese War, and it was a very disturbing video which is available now everywhere, and also there are lots of images also captured where he was willfully burning himself in the middle of public in Vietnam. And what happened is that to show protest that whatever is happening is not right and we need to take the right path, to show that protest in compassion, he allowed himself to burn while he was fully alive and in a deep state of concentration of samadhi. So when I saw that image, it just really made me wonder that wow, it means that such a state is possible, that you are burning yourself up and nothing in you is moving. Because people who saw, who witnessed that event, they share that nothing, while he was burning alive, there was nothing in him that was moving, that could be seen moving. While when I sit for meditation, I see that somewhere there is a itch, there is a discomfort, we keep on moving. So I am holding this workshop. This does not mean that I am in a state of samatha. It just means that I am also aspiring for samatha, just like all of us are aspiring for samatha. Because something in samatha attracts all of us. There must be something which attracts all of us. So my learnings are basically from life, as for all of us, our learnings are from life, and also recently Vipassana, because in Vipassana, when you sit down to meditate, you, for a certain duration of time, you don't move. You tell yourself that now for these many hours, or this day or 2 day or whatever, I'm not going to move when I'm going to sit in the meditation. Whether it be an itch, whether your leg is going numb, even then you would not move. And that reminded me of Sri Aurobindo's chapter on in Synthesis of Yoga, on release from the subjection of the body. So I told myself, this is what is release from the subjection to the body is, because the moment my uh, leg is going numb, I want to move. I want to move. I'm not fully, in an absorbed state, or a state where I'm away from the subjection to the body. So this is just one part, one angle to look at samatha. But I personally feel, and right now also the practice that we will be doing, is that we really, all of us have read so many things. We keep reading. With Sri Aurobindo and Mother, we have no dearth of literature available. With every issue of life, we have something to read. But what about how deep the practice has gone inside me? And that I feel that release from subjection to the heart, release from subjection to the mind, and release from subjection to the body and the ego will tell me how deep the practice has gone inside, the cells of the body. So the physical practice, if we can say, how physically I am there with the practice, that each cell of my body is now in the practice. So we will share little. I'll try not to speak much, but we do more practice, and we also take homework for practice. But of course, since I'm here, we are all here, we'll be talking, we'll be discussing a few things, but basically we'll be now practicing in the body, establishing that samatha. So before we start, and anybody wants to add on anything or share their experiences of samatha, and also if someone can share from their life that uh, right now, what do we see? Like, do we see ourselves moving by every little bit of that experience that life is giving us at all times? Or do we see that no, relatively I am, much stable after these years of practice, that things don't move me easily? Because we see that we are just like puppeted around by each and every wave, and something in us doesn't like it. And I feel that there is a truth to that not liking it, because truly we are masters of ourselves, and not only ourselves, but much wider than ourselves, but we don't know that. And that memory lingers in us, and that is why we don't like to be puppeted around, but we are puppeted around. So if we have seen ourselves being puppeted around, and that's why we are here, we don't want to be puppeted around, and we are craving or wanting that equipoise or equanimity. So would anyone want to share anything related to this from your life? I think that would be very helpful for all the participants. Yeah, please share. Whatever is there that is coming to you, please.
Yeah, for me, Monica, it depends entirely on the trigger. What presses my button, what trigger is, and what is triggering me off. If the adverse force finds the right sort of trigger, then I can really go berserk. But if not, then the equipoise is usually there, you know. But if sometimes I'm in sort of panic mode a little bit, entirely surface mode, then I'm vulnerable, quite vulnerable, quite exposed.
Very true. I think you spoke for all of us. Thank you. Thank you so much. Yes. Anyone else?
Sure.
Okay. Nothing. Okay. It's okay. So I think what James just said is really it speaks for all of us that when we are identified with the surface mode of our being, we can't help but being swayed by every little this and that of life, because that is the truth of that surface reality right now. It's not fully under the influence of the inner self. So that is why any when we are identified with the surface movements, we can be just puppeted around like that. Now, somewhere deep inside us, there is a hope that the world can give me something, that this surface world can, the world of manifestation, it can give me something lasting. And this hope is so deeply ingrained that it just comes back again and again. You become disheartened by this or that event, but it comes back again and again. You begin again to be hopeful that this world can give you something lasting. In Buddhism, they say, they really, ponder about it, they meditate over this, that this world is fleeting. And there we come to the first law that we will be reflecting upon, the law of impermanence. So if we have a copy or pen or a paper, just on the center, I'll see if we can do some whiteboard here. Yeah, like this. So in the center, we can write Samata, and whoever has pen and paper at hand, you can do it for yourself. I'm just writing it for all of us. Samata, equality, equanimity, equipoise. And one of the important things that we have to reflect upon here is that everything is changing. Everything is changing. Law of impermanence. This is interesting. Yeah, I hope it's clear enough. So this is the first thing that we will reflect upon. And before going on the next two that I will be sharing with you, just we'll stop here and we'll see the reality of this law of impermanence. There are many videos on YouTube from physics where we see that at quantum level, at the level of the basic grain of our existence, we see everything is moving. Now, this body seems to be stable, but if we go deep in the body, we will see that each atom, each micro atom is vibrating. They say that the universe is vibrating. It's not stable as it looks like. So when everything is unstable, when we sit in meditation, there also we see, if those of us who meditate by doing sitting meditation, we see that my states of being are changing. Yesterday I was happy, Now after a few hours, after I'm unhappy, I'm feeling a little sad, I'm feeling a little happy, I'm feeling a little enthusiastic, I'm feeling a little not enthusiastic. So things are changing. Things are changing, things are changing. And even in terms of spiritual experiences, one day I may have a beautiful meditative experience, but an experience is an experience, it comes and goes. So it changes. So this is the basic truth of life. It's not that I'm fabricating that, oh, there is a law of impermanence. There is a law of impermanence which is there naked in front of me, in front of my eyes. We see seasons changing, you know so severe winters, and then we have in Delhi severe summers, then monsoon, total dry, total heat, like you are getting baked, and then suddenly so much of moisture. you know so things are changing. Mother, in one of her prayers, she says that the universe is created and recreated at every moment of our existence. Now this brings us to the law of impermanence. Now when everything is changing, it means I cannot rely on anything for my lasting contentment. Anything that I can touch, feel, sense with my senses. A person was there in my life, now the person is not there anymore. A person behaved in a different way earlier with me so that I felt so joyful and grateful, but now the person's priorities have changed. The person is not exactly that person anymore, so I can't get that continued pleasure from that person anymore. Changes. Again, our loved ones are there, then not there. Our children are there at our home when they are growing up, but then when they are becoming big enough, then they are not there with us, physically not there with us. So things are changing every moment. My life is changing as every moment. Maybe I'm used to some respect or name or recognition, but now suddenly there is nothing. Nobody gives any damn to me, my name. So things are changing. So when we look at this law of impermanence and we realize the truth of it, also when we sit in sitting meditation and we see our thoughts changing, feelings changing, able to concentrate on breath, not able to concentrate on breath, we see that the universe is in absolute flux. It's in flux every moment. And hence, I cannot rely on anything which is manifested, anything which I can touch, sense, feel, hear, see, all the things of the senses, that cannot become my ground. That cannot become a source of my lasting happiness. Now, today, before we go to the second two things that we will be pondering for today, we first try to establish ourselves in this law of impermanence. We think about it, and when we meditate in Tibetan Buddhism, the meaning for to meditate is to familiarize. Like if there is a phrase that we have taken for today, law of impermanence or impermanence. So today I'm going to familiarize myself with this law, to ponder over it, to contemplate over it, to see in my surroundings this law at work. So right now we'll just take a moment again for practice. We'll take about say 10 minutes or so. We'll not take long because then we may have questions or anything, but 10 minutes at a stretch we will take, and we'll just relax into any comfortable posture that we feel okay with. Just, or if you're walking, if you're working right now, maybe you're in middle of things, just try to find some time to just relax, come back in the body and feel your body, whether it's tight or loose or relaxed or tense here or there. Just feeling it, being in the body. We're not going to change it, but just observe it. Just see it consciously for ourselves when we come back in the body. And how nice that I can practice. How wonderful opportunity this is, that I am not suffering from any ailment which is debilitating so that I cannot practice. How precious an opportunity. That if I want to come back to the breath, I can come back to the breath. My mind hears the command, my mind can understand this, fathom it, and then bringing the attention to the breath, feeling grateful that we can do that. We will just bring our attention to the breath. Breath brings us back to the body. And if we want, we can make our attention on the tip of the nose, at the tip of the nose, where the breath is entering and leaving. And if there is any want in the body to move, just notice that want. You may move or not, that's up to you. Notice, become conscious of it. If there is any want in the mind to move, to think, just notice that want. If any storyline wants to arise again, just notice it. Notice the want and bring the attention back to the breath. Right now, I'm going to give my time to this. So many elements are working in our favor so that we can sit and practice. If there is any itch, again notice, and if possible, don't touch it. Try to endure. See how long an itch can last. And again, if there is a want to move in the mind, feeling, or body, see that want and see how long it can last. Enduring any itches, wantings to move in the mind, in the body, in the feelings. If there is numbness while sitting, if you feel, also endure the numbness. And see for yourself in the body, tuning in the body, that right now I am tuned in the body. And although I cannot see that everything in the body is moving, is in a flux, but as I become more conscious of sensations in the body, it will become a fact actually for me that yes, they are moving, everything is changing. An itch arises here or there, and then it moves, it's not there anymore. Then at another place, some movement, some feeling arises, it's gone, then it's not there anymore. All while staying in tune with the breath. Feeling the sensations on the tip of the nose, just noticing whatever changes you can see. At times there will be tingling here or there in the body. Again noticing. Noticing the restlessness, if it's there in the mind, in the feelings, in the body. If there is a certain ease and peace that we can experience, that too, we observe, we see it, feel it, notice it. If we are unable to do the practice, that also we can notice. Basically, not fighting anything which is happening, just noticing. If we make a movement in the body, that also we notice. There is a deep peace here or there, we notice. Now we are going to narrow down our focus a little. We'll just stay at the tip of our nose and around that nose area. Stay there, not all over the body. And we will feel and notice all the sensations that happen around the tip of our nose. noticing whatever movement we are conscious of, whatever sensation we are conscious of. In this narrow area around the tip of our nose. If in the meantime our attention slips to any other area, we notice it and then again bring it back to the nose, the tip of the nose. We may become aware of the breath coming in from the right or the left nostril, and we just notice, just making a note of it. If it's going out of a particular nostril, again making a note of it. If both the nostrils are involved, again making a note. Whatever it is, we just see it as it is. Without trying to change. If some of us may begin to sleep, we notice the sleep coming, we notice the tamas, the laziness coming. And again, lift ourselves up from it and practice. Tip of the nose. If there are any other sensations we notice, bring back our attention to the tip of the nose. In a very relaxed manner. Forgetting everything that is there in the world, just focusing here on the tip of the nose. Keeping everything aside right now, just focusing on this area. Nothing matters but for this. If there is any experience that comes to us while we are at it, noticing that experience, letting it go, letting it come, letting it go. Bringing attention back again and again to the tip of the nose sensations that we are feeling there. Stabilizing ourselves in this point. All the sensations as they appear, I am conscious of it. As they disappear, I am conscious of it. An ache or a numbness or a tiredness or a stiffness, I am aware of it. Their disappearance, I am aware of. Things are changing moment by moment. No state can I hold on to. It will change. No color, no light, no vision, no matter how beautiful, lasts long enough. That is the truth that I see. Pleasures of the body, sensations in the body, changing, changing. Things in my life, moods and states of my being, changing. Respect, name, fame, recognition, disrespect, insult, rejection, changing, changing. I can hold on to nothing that I feel or sense. All the beautiful states of my being, all the beautiful experiences come, go. All the non-beautiful experiences, the ugly experiences that I would not like to have, they also come and go. It's only me. I keep repeating them, making them alive, 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 increasing my suffering. Things are changing every moment. When I become familiarized with this law of change, I hold on to nothing. I become comfortable with being uncomfortable, being in discomfort. It's okay. Happens, things happen. All my barriers and dams that I make in front of me and life, they break. There is no space for them. There is nothing in me that resists the flow of life. When I understand the law of impermanence, law of anityata, change, the ephemeral nature of existence, how beautiful, because that's what creates the space for something new. When the old breaks, letting people come and go from my life, letting myself come and go from situations and peoples and life, letting rewards, recognitions, pleasure, pain come and go. Letting disrespect come, insult, letting it come. If it comes, it comes. The universe already has said yes to it. So a deep allowance for this wonderful display of colors in life. Letting dejection come, letting sorrow come. How long can it stay? Letting sadness come, letting a exalted state of being come, letting it go. Letting all the resistances in my being to experience, letting it come, letting all the resistance come, allowing it in the experience called life, letting it go when it goes. Seeing this drama of life, the dance of life on this canvas of awareness, Purusha. All the beautiful spiritual experiences of years and years of practice, letting them come, letting them go. letting a sorrowful, morose, monotonous state come, noticing it, letting it disappear when it wants to disappear. At times I may feel some vibrations in my body which appear very holy, sacred, some chakras opening or this or that, letting them come when they want to come. Noticing my craving for that, noticing my wanting to hold on to that experience and letting it go. Noticing the changes in health as we grow older, more mature, more ripened, noticing them, letting them go, all on the surface. What else can we expect from the surface? Becoming very comfortable with this law of impermanence, groundlessness, noticing my relationships, how they change, at times very pleasurable, beautiful, at times ugly, not really wanting to be close to that person. All experiences of life, letting them come, letting them go. At times I am able to stay rooted with the breath in the body. At times I am swept away. Both are states, letting it come, letting it go. At times feeling easy in the body, at times not feeling easy. Noticing the unease, noticing the ease, letting both of them go, letting them come, letting them go. Becoming more and more comfortable with the dance of life and understanding for ourselves, for myself, that what can this ephemeral world of fleeting appearances, what can it give me lasting? It cannot. So seeing my hopes from it, which arise again and again, to crave something lasting and permanent from this world of fleeting existence, to see my dumbness and stupidity and laugh over it. What can it give anyone which is lasting and permanent? So I see that I cannot hold on to anything. And yet the nature is very giving. If I don't hold on, I see, I learn from every experience. My learning continues. but I cannot hold on to anything that I can sense and feel and touch and see and hear. All comes and goes. This too shall pass. And create something new in its place. Letting the space be created for something new if something old wants to dissolve. Instead of trying to make dams and barriers to the flow of life, I embrace this flow of life, the law of impermanence. Kali, dancing on the chest of Shiva, Purusha. Brings a great liberation, a great relief when I stop clutching onto everything pleasurable that comes my way. And when I begin to notice that clutching, that yes, I clutch, and clutching becomes the source of my suffering. So loosening our grip from all the experiences of life, just letting it loose like you're holding a rope with your fist. You let it go. You won't fall anywhere. There is nowhere to fall. It's a free fall. You won't hit any ground. So enjoy this free fall. There is no ground. All the sensations of the body that I may be feeling, they will come and go. This state of peace that I am feeling maybe right now, whatever state I am feeling right now, this too shall come and go. Feeling that release, feeling a release if there is a release, feeling the release, noticing the release that comes when we let it go, when we open our fists wide open, nothing to hold on to. Yes, there is nothing that I can hold on to, and I'm completely okay with that. Now I see this law in operation. How wonderful. And it's because of this law of impermanence that things happen, things change. I have a wound, and because of the law of impermanence, the wound heals. I recover from an illness because things are not permanent. Because of this law, bad times also pass. If there is anything called bad time, that also will pass. If there is a pain somewhere which I cannot bear, that too passes. How wonderful. The law brings me pain only and only when I clutch, when I cling on, when I crave for something which wants to go, but I want to stick to it. Then only I misunderstand this law. Then I don't understand the law. I am in ignorance of the law of impermanence. So it brings me suffering. When things want to change, but I don't want to let them go. This is dharma. Dharma is when we abide with this law. The dharma of life is to change. Truth is always evolving. It's never a static truth. From each cell of my body, recognizing this truth, the dharma of life to change. And seeing how my craving, how my clinging to pleasurable experiences and aversion from non-pleasurable experiences, how that brings me suffering. So here we combine the three laws, three main points of our problem of life. The ignorance of law of impermanence, the dharma of life, brings or arises, gives rise to clinging, craving, and aversion. So when I am not in line with this law of impermanence, I suffer. And whenever we are suffering, we will see I am suffering either because of aversion, of not liking what is happening to me, or I am suffering that I want to hold on to something which wants to pass on. So ignorance of this law giving rise to attraction and aversion, craving, clinging and aversion, and which brings a great suffering. While when I notice this law in operation, when I become comfortable with it, absolutely comfortable, day and night I'm comfortable with the law of impermanence, then I see that there is no need for suffering to be there anymore. I was creating my suffering. And hence, Samatha comes automatically. It comes as a byproduct of being okay with this groundlessness of impermanence, being okay with the impermanence. Yesterday, somebody said 2 nice words to me. Oh, I became so happy. I wanted it again, I wanted it again. And now that same person says something insulting to me. I'm not happy. Why? Because I want that same old experience again. I don't want this new, unlikable experience. Seeing that, seeing all these tendencies in operation. And when I don't resist, then it's okay. I understand the law of impermanence. What else I can expect? Samsara, the world of fleeting, ephemeral existences, changing every moment. In my body, cells are regenerating every moment, dying every moment. How nice! It keeps the life alive, keeps the universe ever freshly newborn. So, like this, we contemplate on the law of impermanence, like we did for the past few minutes, and we can continue to reflect over this law. We can keep it in our pocket all the time. Whenever we have any disappointment that we are facing in our life, we again, law of impermanence, what can I expect from samsara? This is what it is. And at times praise comes or accolades come or recognition comes there too, because there we usually get drunk in that praise and lose the alignment with the law. So noticing that drunkenness that comes when somebody praises you, or you are pleased with your performance, or things are happening according to you in the life, because moments will come when things happen according to you. Noticing that pleasure that comes, and noticing that that also is fleeting. I cannot hold on to it. It has come, it may go. So my happiness cannot depend upon those experiences. And it's a practically bodily lived experience then for me. Just like an itch cannot stay forever, a tendency also cannot stay forever. And all of us, we at times are bogged down by our tendencies. We feel so helpless in front of our tendencies. When will I change? These tendencies, they just keep repeating. So when we become conscious of these tendencies, when they are arising, when, as James was sharing in the beginning, when the trigger comes, tendency is in operation in me, when we see it arise, and we stop and not act according to that tendency. Like when we stopped in meditation, when there was a itch, I did not scratch. How long can it last? So just like that, when a trigger comes, and it will come, we are all living in surroundings, surrounded by people, life situations. Time to time, triggers will come. When the trigger arises and something happens in me owing to that trigger, can I not scratch that itch? When I know it's not a very healthy itch, it's harmful if I say those words. If it's harmful, it's evil if I speak that abusive word out, or something which is coming out of a deep hatred or anger or resentment, all that we call disturbing emotions. So whenever triggers happen in our life, and there according to that trigger a tendency arises in me to react to that trigger, when I deeply root myself in such a meditative contemplation that we were doing, and we see that I can remain unmoved when an itch is happening in the body. I can also remain unmoved when there is a strong, intense desire in me to just blurt something out, or slap, or anything which is derogatory or with agitatedness. If I can, there I can stay unmoved for some time. then we will see that the tendencies arise and pass. They also are impermanent. In Buddhism, they say that all the samskaras are anitya, they are impermanent. So if we can endure that pain of that sanskara while it is arising and not act through it, we cut through generations of tendencies that we have been carrying. That is a true victory, true success in this life. When you know that this is a tendency, it gets triggered, but now I am doing kind of a steadfastness in me that I will not act through that, because I don't want anything now from this world which comes with to me again and again with all its promises. So I'm not going to act through that unholy actions which are words which are not good for others, good for ourselves. And slowly, when we are steadfast in our sadhana, what happens is that we cut through generations of suffering when we not act through that itch that is coming. So I feel that first we get stabilized in that practice in the body, because it personally it has given me a lot of strength that if I am not able, if I can keep myself away from scratching an itch while I am meditating, or if I can keep myself away from not moving when I want to move in meditation, to become into a comfortable posture, while I'm sitting, then if I can endure that time, then when a tendency arises, when I am in a waking state, so-called waking state, people are interacting with me, things are happening in life, then when a tendency arises, my ability to respond will be better rather than my ability to react to that itch that is happening through that trigger. So just experiment this. This is just an invitation to experiment that they are related, and then slowly the more comfortable I am with this law of ever changing forms and appearances, thoughts are changing, feelings are changing, nothing is permanent, then it gives me a great relief in the being, brings a great sense of ease and calm. And if we sense that calm, then masters have said in Yoga Sutras of Patanjali also, they say, then we can take the support of that calm and ease that we are feeling in the body, in the mind, in the feelings, and make that our uh, focus of concentration. So rather than breath, we switch now to that, they also call it calm abiding. Abiding in the calm that you feel in yourself, abiding in the peace and ease that you feel in yourself. So we keep switching. We start with the breath, we focus with the breath and the body sensations that we are feeling around the nose or wherever, and we see them change over time. Again and again we see them change. Itch was there, discomfort was there, now it is not there anymore. And then slowly, when we let go of all the thought forms and feelings and storylines, we see a great sense of relief in the being. And that sense of relief, or they also call it anand, or a kind of a bliss. It's not like an exalted bliss, but like a very ease, natural bliss. Then we can make that bliss as our support for meditation. We can take support of that and concentrate, abide by that in ourselves. And this bliss is not arising out of any consumption of any material from outside. This is when all the senses have turned within. That's when this bliss arises. They're not getting it by consumption of either a chocolate or a person or a situation or entertainment. It's when the senses are turned within. They are not consuming its substances. Like the eye is not having a beautiful match or a vision in front, that's why it's happy. No, the eye has the dust turned within. And that when the indris or the senses, when they are not consuming the object of the senses, the anand or the bliss that comes through that turning within, that is something which we can abide by, which is our true nature, more close to our true nature. which is always available, whether anything else is changing or not. So today I think we can stop here. We can take questions or any sharing if it is there. Today we are only going to reflect on the law of impermanence and how, understanding the law of impermanence, we abide in samatha, or a kind of an equanimity, becoming comfortable with the change in life. Yeah, so anybody wants to share anything or add on? Any obstacles on the path? People may have, I don't know if anybody felt sleepy, and sleepiness is given as one of the obstacles on the path. In Yoga Sutras they give, amongst other 9 obstacles which we can talk about tomorrow, they usually take tamas, or laziness, which induces sleep, and which they say that it's because of the gravity of earth. The earth pulls you down, it drags you down. So that is one of the obstacles on the path. So whenever we sit for meditation, I feel sitting meditation is very helpful, or lying down meditation or whatever. I feel that a separate time of concentration or samadhi or meditation or contemplation, I feel that it's very, very important, along with all the other things that we can do. So when we are sitting in meditation, we should not sleep. Sleeping is not meditating. So sleeping is one of the obstacles on the path. So just being aware that it's for all of us, for billions of us, sleeping is one of the obstacles. It's just like, that's how it is. And it's good to sleep beforehand. So if I'm meditating, take a nap beforehand so that we don't fall asleep while I'm concentrating. Then tamas is one of the obstacles. Alas, laziness is one of the obstacles, that, oh, not today. No, I'm not in a mood. Like feeling lazy, not really ready to meditate. That is one of the obstacles. Other obstacles are doubt. For example, when I begin to doubt, what will I get out of it? Doubting the practice, doubting the method, doubting the teacher, that brings us again, misaligns out of the path. And the other is pramad. In Hindi it's pramad. In English we would say it's like a frivolousness. We all know what should be done, but we don't do it. So that is laparwahi in Hindi. Frivolousness, or like just wasting it, wasting all this knowledge that has been given to us, knowing what we want to do, knowing what we have to do, but not doing it. That is also one of the obstacles on the path. So just being aware of all these obstacles, knowing that they will show up from time to time, they will arise. Restlessness is also one of the obstacles. Distractedness, restlessness is one of the obstacles. So, and understanding the preciousness of human life, that right now, when I have such a relatively functional body, when I can concentrate if I want to, why not use this time? Because there have been times when I've not been able to concentrate. I myself, recently something happened and I went through an allergic reaction to something. And I realized that when the body is in pain, you really cannot practice. You cannot focus well. Because again and again, or again, we can change the practice then we focus on the area that is paining, right? So we can make pain our object of concentration. But right now, when we are healthy, relatively healthy, the mind is understanding the method or the practice that is available in front of us. How fortunate we are that we can practice. So not to waste this precious time that we have got. To make the mind one-pointed, concentrated, and to use it for our benefit, which will result in the benefit of others. And in yoga also, there are, like, talk about different states of mind, and that also we can notice in front of us arising. One of the states is restless state. In Hindi they call it shipt, or Sanskrit is shipt. Shipt is a restless state of being. You will see that you cannot focus or meditate when you are in a restless state. Mind is here and there, and really not really at all together. Then they say the other kind of a state of mind is a dumbness, is just like a stupefied state of being. It's like a dumbness. You don't know, you're feeling a little dumb. So all the knowledge may be there, all the books may be lying in my house, but a dumbness is overcome, and there I cannot focus. Time to time these states come. Then another state is vikshipt. Vikshipt is distracted. Again and again I'm somehow thinking about that, then thinking about that, this is what I have to do, but not together. It's not in gathered state. So they say in Yoga Sutras of Patanjali, they say that when the mind is in these three states, restless, stupefied, and distracted, if any concentration, if at all, happens in these three states, we cannot call it yoga. We cannot call it a true union or a samadhi, even if a concentration happens, because it is just by chance. Like a child is playing in the mud, and he's just here, sometimes here, sometimes there, and here, and then suddenly something catches the child's attention, and then he becomes totally concentrated on that. But we don't call it yoga, we don't call it concentration, true concentration. So it doesn't come in the realm of yoga or union. And then next two states that they talk about, there we call it yoga, when the mind is ekagra or one pointed, like we were doing, practice on the breath, one pointedness. That is considered in the realm of yoga. Then another state is an arrested state, niruddh. Niruddh is arrested when all our tendencies that usually operate, when the mind goes here because of the tendencies, those are arrested. Because of our wisdom and understanding, those are arrested. We are not going there. That also is counted in the yoga field. So that is just theoretical knowledge. I'm sharing it just because we can see them arise in the being. That today I am restless and hence the focus is not happening. So again, we have lots of theory, and all that we are discussing, a lot of theory is available. But right now what we are focusing is that let us experience this law of impermanence operating in our body, operating in our life, so that I become very comfortable with this law and aligned with this law. And then we can see the results of this alignment. So this is our homework, if I can call homework at all, for today, that we will just keep this one law in our mind. And every time waking up or sleeping or doing our daily activities, observing the law of impermanence and work in our mind, thoughts and feelings, how states are changing. Then tomorrow we can share or discuss whatever we observed, if we want to. Yeah, so anything from anyone? Any questions or doubts or anything that you encountered, if at all, in the practice? Usually better not to share about the practice, but if at all there is a doubt. All right, beautiful. So we stop here from my side. I think this is enough for today. Too much we get scattered. We just do this practice, and from whenever we get time in between the next session and this, we again try to do samatha practice. In Buddhism, whatever we did today, the focusing of the mind on one particular object. Today the object was breath first and then sensations. We call it samatha, shamatha, or calm abiding meditation. So the first step is to stabilize ourselves in this, that whenever we want, at will, we can stabilize ourselves. And what helps in this stabilizing is what we discussed, the law of impermanence. When we see that the things are changing, then there's nothing to hold on to. There is nothing that can move me really, because I know things are moving. So just stabilizing again and again in that understanding, and in with the breath, with bringing the mind in the body, and seeing the drama of life and seeing the dance of life, becoming very familiar with it, very, very familiar. Yeah, I think that's it for today. So thank you everyone, and before we disperse for today and for the rest of the days, let's for a moment share our merit, share all the ease and goodness that will be brought about by our practice, dedicating all the merit of our practice to the innumerable sentient beings who all are wanting happiness, not wanting suffering. We share this happiness, we share this ease, peace, and the merit of the practice with all the sentient beings. Thanking all the gurus and the masters for leading us here, thanking life for its experiences to lead us here at this point that we can reflect upon what is important in life. So feeling grateful for all those experiences, whether bitter or harsh, they have led us here. So there must be something good in all of them. May everyone be happy. May no one suffer. May all beings be happy. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you everyone, and wishing everyone a very good day, evening or night. Thank you for joining.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Thanks, Monica.
Thank you, James. Thank you everyone.
Until